idobi Warped Radio.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to idobi Warped Radio here on idobi Radio. My name is Fish. I am very excited for today's episode of idobi Warped Radio for so many different reasons. One, because LØLÖ's here. Two, because Biggie made sure he wanted to come to this interview in particular this time around. And I mean, we got to get into it. You've probably seen her sneak into a Green Day show, but she's not sneaking into the Vans Warped Tour this year. I'm very excited to have LØLÖ here. What's up?
I love it. What is up? Not much. I have a very cute dog on my lap, so I'm happy. My serotonin is filled for the week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And you have a jam-packed week, by the way. You've had a jam-packed handful of weeks.
I have. Yeah, it gets kind of crazy because I'm back and forth between LA and Toronto. So when I am in LA, it's like go, 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 go. Meetings, interviews, sessions, life.
It's crazy because obviously you've toured extensively, but right now you're kind of in writing mode because the record came out almost a year ago.
Almost a year ago. It's so crazy.
In 3 weeks, it's a year.
That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
It went by really fast.
So crazy. And I particularly remember the album because it came out on my birthday.
Oh?
That's why I remember it. And that's why I also forgot to do an interview with you because I was celebrating my birthday for 2 weeks.
That makes sense. You're forgiven.
Yes. Thank you. But either way, you've been super busy in writing sessions and not a lot of people know how big of a writer you are and how many sessions you're a part of. And I think it's like one of the coolest things because there's so much more to your project than what people see in front of them and on social media. And one big session you were a part of was an Ava Max session.
Yes.
And then I also know you have a #1 at Alt Radio too.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the writing side of LØLÖ because that's currently what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Writing side of LØLÖ is honestly really awesome because I get to write with other artists and write from different perspectives that I wouldn't necessarily write about myself. So that's really cool. And it kind of, I used to get a lot of writer's block, honestly, writing for myself. But now that I'm like in the room with different artists or like writing for pitch for different artists and putting myself in different headspaces, I'm saying, you know, words and lyrics and thinking of melodies that I would never think of for myself. And it's kind of like sparking ideas. And I'm like, oh, wait, that actually, something like that could be cool for me if I like change it and do this. So it's really helped me with writer's block and stuff. And honestly, just really fun to like not be LØLÖ for a day and just be like, you know, in the brain of someone else. And I find I could kind of like just like be a therapist for them and that's fun. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not the only fucked up one.
That's
we are together.
That's incredible that you're able to exercise such creativity outside of your artist project as well.
Thank you.
And it's very easy to see how you end up in an artist's head. And because you are super talkative with every single artist and every interview I see you do, I'm just like, man, you like actually care while talking.
Thank you. It's funny. My mom told me that she's like, you shouldn't be an artist. You should be an interviewer. And I was like, thanks, Mom. She's like, you're just so good at talking. I was like, the singing though, how's that?
It's interesting because my mom tells me every day, she's like, no, you should be an artist. You should really give up this interviewing thing. You're so good at guitar.
We should switch.
I'll
give you one of my plaid skirts.
Perfect. It'll be some Freaky Friday stuff.
Yeah, that would be funny.
And we're going to circle back to that at some point in the interview.
The interview after a commercial break, you'll be in my outfit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're circling back to.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask you if there was a song that you've written or songs that you're writing that you're like, man, I really wish I kept that for myself.
Honestly, no, because a lot of the songs that I've had out with other artists, like they were in the room when we all wrote it together. A bunch of my like pitch songs or whatever that I've gotten have turned into like a K-pop song or something that I wouldn't necessarily keep for myself. But yeah, as I said, it inspires that. But there are some songs that after I write them, I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm not giving this to anyone. This one's mine. So yeah, my song "You and the Tin Man" was being pitched for a little bit. Because my publishers were like, this is so good, like we need to like give this to a big artist, and I was just like, I'm gonna take this back. I just feel like it really is my song, and then it ended up being like the pillar for my entire album and the album artwork, so I'm really happy I kept that one.
I was just about to ask, was that before or after you decided the whole theme of the record?
So that was before. The "You and the Tin Man" was the first song that I wrote for the album, and it's the last song on the album, which I think is really cute. I didn't even mean to do that. But I had written that song and I was like, wow, I feel like there's like a whole world to this song that I would like to explore. And then it wasn't until like a year later that I was like, okay, yeah, this should be the world of my album. And I'm going to be like this punked out Dorothy.
That's awesome. We're going to be talking about that whole rollout because, man, the Easter eggs you were leaving for, I think it was over a year, was so impressive.
I'm a Taylor Swift fan. What can I say?
That's truly, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And everything just makes so much sense after you said that.
Yeah. Honestly, as a fan, I love when artists do that. I think it's so cool. So that's why I was like, okay, well, when I put out my album, I want to, when I put out my album, I want to do stuff like that too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're a super duper go-getter. And I don't
Thank
know
you.
how many people know that 9 out of 10 times from what I hear on the back end of things, if you want something, you go out and get it yourself.
I do try to do that.
And you don't take no for an answer 9 out of 10 times too, which is so cool to hear in an artist project and just like so inspiring.
Thank you.
And with that, you've collaborated Biggie.
He's so itchy.
With that, you've collaborated with so many incredible artists on tracks that have come out. You've collaborated with Taylor Acorn. You've collaborated with Letdown. Of course, you've collaborated with Maggie Lindemann on Debbie Downer, my personal favorite track, as everyone knows. Now, in the world of LØLØ, are there any artists you're really aspiring to work with on a collab track like you've put out in the past that you could see yourself maybe doing a track with?
Honestly, I feel like dream collabs would probably, I mean, obviously Green Day, but don't think that would happen, but never say never. I would love to do something with like YUNGBLUD or Role Model. I think would be really cool. And then I would love to do something with like another girl in the scene. I mean, I guess all my collab. Oh no, not Letdown. Letdown is a boy. Sorry. But yeah, I just like love doing collabs with girls. I think it's really cool. Like I'd love to do something with Royal and the Serpent. I feel like that would be really sick. Honestly, I'm open to collabing. I think collab songs are so cool, but then I end up always writing songs that I'm like, I feel like this wouldn't make sense with another voice. So then my whole album was just me songs. But I would like to do a collab song for the next album.
It's only going to happen in time.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
And also, all the features are just so good that you do. It's
Thank you. I try to be really picky with it so that they are good. You know?
You can very much tell you're very picky with it, which is awesome. So I brought up jokingly about sneaking into Green Day shows because I have a handful of texts from the last 2 years of asking about how to get into a Green Day show from you.
Literally every time I text Fish, it's like either like, hey, what's up? But most of the time it's, how do I get into this Green Day show? Do you have any connection?
And there was one that you got into that I didn't get into, the Echoplex show. I think.
Oh yeah, that one I got into. That was crazy.
So that one, that it wasn't the full out, or was that the full American Idiot play?
They played American Idiot and Dookie from front to back. They paid pretty much, I'm pretty sure it was like a warm up for their tour. That was like the 25th anniversary of American Idiot and Dookie, and whatever anniversary of Dookie. Yeah, so that was just, I think they were like practicing their set or something. And it was amazing. And I got into that. I don't even remember how I got into it. Oh, yeah, I somehow like got to their like A&R to agent. Like, don't ask me how I even fucking schemed to do this. But I was like, I am going. And literally got one ticket for just me. And then I knew some people going, and like all the like industry people were standing at the back. And a couple of my friends were like, oh, come, I'm at the back. And I'm like, I have an amazing spot in the pit. I am not leaving. And I was pretty much like in the pit with like all these other fans jumping up and down, going crazy. Like by the end, I was sweating. I had the best time. And then I went to, and I saw the actual show like months later at a stadium or not baseball stadium. Is it a stadium? Not football. Yeah. Anyways, at a stadium. And it was also so amazing, but different. So I'm happy that I saw both sides because like the Echoplex, so intimate. Are you kidding? It was sick.
That's incredible. And I want to ask you, because that's obviously the band that I know that's inspired you the most and the band that you're crazy about with that.
Yeah.
Like I would do the same thing for bands like Good Charlotte, Third Eye Blind, 1975 and whatnot. How do you remember the first time you heard Green Day and what that meant to you and how that inspired your career?
So it's so funny because I don't remember how or why, I guess. I remember like I used to be able to, my mom would be like, I'm going to take you to the CD store and we could like pick a CD. But this was my first CD that I ever bought. So I don't even remember picking it out. Because I was so little at the time when American Idiot was, I just don't remember doing it. But I know that I remember enough to know that that was my first CD. Mm-hmm. But like my mom, not into Green Day. My dad, not into Green Day. So why did I pick that album? I think in my head I was probably like, ooh, a red heart. I'm going to get that. And I got it. And I just remember like being obsessed and playing it and performing it in my basement for my parents, charging them probably like $2, a loony or a toonie if for the Canadian listeners. And I remember listening to it. And I remember like listening to She's a Rebel. And he goes like, from Chicago to Toronto. And I was like, he's talking about me. Oh my God, this is crazy. I am a rebel. And I was like, meanwhile, like the lankiest, nerdiest kid. But it was just great. I just loved it. And then at the same time, obviously listened to like Avril Lavigne, Simple Plan. Like those were like my favorite artists. But then I got super into I was also super into Hilary Duff, and I got super into Taylor Swift. And I feel like that ended up being like an amalgamation of the songs that I was just like started to write when I started to write them.
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense now.
Now, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, but I want to play a song from you. What song do you want me to play for everyone?
Oh my God, I get to pick any song?
Any song of yours.
Okay, let's play Hot Girls in Hell. Why not?
Hell yeah. Here's Hot Girls in Hell by LØLØ here on idobi Warped Radio. Sweet.
Sick.
When you're ready, you can just hop right back in.
Cool.
Hey, cool.
Let me wipe the sweat off my head real quick and then go for it.
Let me wipe the Biggie saliva off my hand.
Yeah.
He was going at it.
What the fuck have you been doing this interview?
Oh, no, I'm joking. It's not like he was just licking me so much, but it was cute. It honestly felt good. I was like, thanks.
All right. Falling for robots and wishing I was one.
It's a mouthful.
It truly is. That's why I'm reading it again. All right, cool. 3, 2, 1. That was Hot Girls in Hell by LØLØ here on idobi Warped Radio. And we are back here with LØLØ, who dropped her debut record, Falling for Robots and Wishing I Was One, last year. Absolute smash of a record. There's a deluxe version out already. I feel like the deluxe dropped like 2 weeks beforehand. Or 2 weeks after, rather.
I was like, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
No, the deluxe dropped. I know it feels like it was so soon after, but the deluxe dropped in February.
Really?
The record came out in June.
Damn.
So it was actually a lot after.
That's crazy to me, because to me, it was like you were on the road and then the deluxe came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Because everything went by so fast.
Yeah.
I don't know what time is anymore. Like,
some may say it was a movie.
yeah. Movie.
Shout out to Maud said.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do want to use that as a segue, though, because of obviously there's a lot of movie themes. We talked about it in the first segment of this episode. And it's really cool to see the Wizard of Oz theme. And it was a long rollout, so many Easter eggs. And I had no idea that your song, You and the Tin Man, was the first song, and that whole story you told. Now, did you decide to do the Wizard of Oz Halloween costume before or after you had the song?
Oh, yeah. I had the song.
Okay.
I already had the album cover. I actually wore the outfit that I wore on my album cover for the Boys Like Girls Halloween show. So I already, I was scheming. I was like, okay, band, we're dressing up as all of this stuff. I literally made my boyfriend be the Tin Man because I'm sick. That song's not about him, but I was just like, okay, well, it makes sense for my boyfriend to be the Tin Man. I was just scheming. I made the ginger be the lion, the ginger in my crew.
Yep.
You know, things like that. But yeah, planned it out.
And that was the first time that Ben played a different character, right? Because he was the bearded guy with the head thing over all the time.
So Ben wasn't on that tour.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have another Ben, my guitar player. But yeah,
Got it.
Ben Orange Balaclava Man was not on that tour. I don't know what happened to Orange Balaclava Man. Maybe he died. I don't know. The lore is strong. I'm hoping that he comes back one day for a show. Ooh. I've been begging.
The return.
I've been begging him to come back. Yeah.
So the debut record, it has a lot of variety on it, which I'm a huge fan of, because every time you dropped a single, I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And in the most positive way. So going into writing your debut record, obviously being such a talented singer-songwriter that you are, I could imagine there was like 50 different genres you were toying with.
Yeah. It's so crazy because I write a lot of my songs just like on my bed before I go into the production session, right? So a lot of the times it could totally be a ballad and then it ends up being something else. Like Hot Girls in Hell, for instance. I wrote that first verse before I got to Nashville, and I thought that song was just going to be like a sad, slow song. And then by the time I got to my writing session, I was no longer sad. I was very, very angry. And then that's kind of how the song ended up going from, opposite ends. But yeah, I mean, my favorite songs to write, I'm just like, I love and listen to. I love like depressing, sad, pulling on your heartstrings. But my favorite songs to perform are like Debbie Downer. Like I like jumping up and down, screaming around the stage, So it's hard because I want to have like the slow songs and I want to have the fast songs. And then also, I feel like my fans just prefer those fast songs from me. For some reason, they always do better. So now I'm like, fuck, what do I do? But now I'm writing this new album, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's crazy too because the first time I heard Faceplant, that was live on the Boys Like Girls tour, and I was blown away by that one.
Thank you.
And then you have tracks like, obviously I talk about it every time I do an interview with you or at you on social media, Debbie Downer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I text you references of every time I see you on a Friday.
It just ends up that we always see each other on a Friday, which is crazy. Yeah. There must be that's kind of like fate.
It truly is. For everyone watching and listening, yesterday I texted Lolo saying everybody's coming to idobi on Friday. And she texted me back going, wait, who?
I was like, wait, who else is coming? And he's like, no, that is a lyric from your song. I just switched it to idobi.
I should really just do voice memos from time to time.
If I heard you go, everyone's coming to idobi on Friday, I would have gotten it, obviously.
And then I would have done the do. And you're like, are you doing the Macarena?
Yeah. Is this Footloose?
Yeah, it's like,
kind of sounds like that.
But with the deluxe of the record, you have variety, even more variety, like songs like Snow in Berlin, which may have been on the original one.
It was on the original, yeah.
But either way, it's still on the deluxe.
Yes.
I am right.
Yep. Listen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
A song so good it made the normal version and the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
But so you have Hot Girls in Hell, Snow in Berlin, but then you do have songs like Debbie Downer and Don't on there.
Yeah.
And you did kind of dive into it a little bit, but I do want to dive into it a little bit more, like especially when it comes to track listing wise and set list wise. How do you decide which song is going where? Because it seems like it's so perfectly placed each and every time. I know I said movie, it's kind of like a movie soundtrack in a way.
Thank you, first of all, because I spend hours thinking about this and like what should be first. So for the record, it was kind of like, I would say it was like a concept album in the sense that like every song was about either falling for a robot or wishing I was one. And I really wanted it to be a story. So like it starts off with the intro and then it goes into, oh my God, like this girl's anxious and whatever, it's going through all this shit. And then it goes to Faceplant. It's like, oh, she meets a guy. And then it goes to like Two of Us. It's like, oh, he's fucked up. And then it like kind of goes through all those different things of like different themes of feeling too much and encountering people who seem to feel nothing at all. And kind of just ending on the note of, I should suck this up, but also like, don't be a robot, but all that kind of stuff. So I try to make it a story, and then same with my set. I try to make it a story so that a person that is listening or watching has like a full experience, like not just listening to songs, but like gets the whole story and at the end of my set, I always say like, I'm glad that we're all feeling all the things together because that's what it means to be fucking human, and that is like kind of the point of my album, that it's like okay to feel all these things. It's okay to be a little crazy. We all get this way. It's normal. It's life. It's human. I mean, we don't have to be robots.
I remember you saying that at the Jaden show right before you ended your set.
Yes.
And it just like hit me. I was just like, Oh God.
Oh God, I'm a human with feelings.
I'm crying in the back of a Lolo Jaden show right now downtown.
Oh God.
I'm like, oh God, I'm feeling things.
Oh my God.
But it's, you say a set, but set has multiple different meanings in that. Like, it's obviously your set during your set time, but also it's like a set, like a movie set in a way, like we said, because you are doing such incredible things like curating which song goes where and keeping that energy alive.
Yeah.
And so now with the music videos too, you have some themes with movies and whatnot. And I could assume when you start doing headliners more often, the set design is going to be incredible for it.
Yeah. Wait, were you at my LA show? I don't think you were.
I was not, no.
Okay. Well, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a great interview.
Yeah. So my set design, I actually was like very adamant on having this like Wizard of Ozzy set design. So like I have my background, my backdrop is the album cover, but brought to life, kind of. So it's like the album cover without me, because obviously I'm standing there. And then I have like these ruby red ego risers, and I have a robot on stage, and he's like, his two eyes are also lights, which is really cool. And then I have a yellow brick road going right down the middle off the stage.
So sick. So when you play Coachella, your B stage is going to be a yellow brick road.
Literally has to be. And then my drum is my dog as Toto in a basket.
No way.
Yeah, Slim. Yeah,
that's so cute. Mm-hmm. So you pay such attention to details, even visually, with it. And the way I fell in love with your music was the first music video of yours that I saw that I'm going to 100% not remember the name of, but you referenced the Princess Diaries in it.
Hate You.
Yeah. She hates me, by the way. That's not the name of the song.
The song is called Hate You. Yes.
So now, was that always something you wanted to do, was have movie references in these music videos to kind of accompany it?
I think I just love movies and TV shows, and I feel like I always love as a fan when someone references it, and I think it's cool, especially when it's like an older movie or like something really iconic, like an iconic show or something. I think it's really cool. So I've just wanted to do that because I think it makes it cooler. That's
not a lie by any means. And being you're such a big movie buff, I saw you were at the Mission Impossible premiere a couple nights ago. So one, did you bring your spy ID?
Oh, I didn't bring it today. Oh my God, I forgot. How could I?
The only time I've ever told an artist to bring a prop.
Well, to be honest, I thought you were joking. I thought you were like, bring your spy ID. Why, do you have one too?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to like put ours together and make some like Power Ranger appear or something.
No, but I did want to see it in person because it looked really cool.
Damn, it is really cool.
I would have matched it with my Warp 2014 laminate.
Oh, okay, that's cool. They also, they had popcorn, but it was in a suitcase, like a little mini briefcase, and said Mission Impossible, and I was like, this is cool. I'm like thinking of ideas for my stuff.
That's so cool. And now I want to ask, what are your top 3 favorite films?
Ooh, Catch Me If You Can, Harry Potter's. All of them, but specifically, I love how you
said it with the SS.
Specifically, number 3, maybe Blow. I really like movies that. Oh, maybe Titanic or Blow. I love movies, all of those besides Harry Potter. But I mean, who knows? I like movies when they're like about something real.
Yeah,
like how Catch Me If You Can is about like his actual life, and Titanic actually happened. Believe it or not. Remember when people thought Titanic didn't happen and they thought it was just a movie?
Wait, really?
Yeah, that was like on Twitter. People were like discovering that Titanic was actually a ship that crashed. And people were like, wait, I thought it was just the movie.
No way.
Yeah, this is like years ago. I remember it being all over Twitter. Anyways, and then Blow also. Like I just, I like movies about real, Harry Potter, obviously. Real things that have happened. I'm waiting for my letter still, but I know it's coming.
Acceptance?
Yeah. When you're supposed to be when you are aged 11, you get a letter inviting you to come to Hogwarts.
Ah.
If you're a wizard.
Well, I mean, Hogwarts is right down the block from here.
That's true. I've been there.
So you've done it.
Yeah, true.
Now, follow-up question for Harry Potter, hot butterbeer or cold butterbeer?
Definitely cold, but I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I thought the hot butter beer was like the greatest hot drink I've ever had.
Really? I haven't tried the hot one, so fuck me.
Oh,
but like, I just didn't like the cold. I feel like I wouldn't like, I prefer cold drinks normally.
Okay.
Like just in general, like I like a Frappuccino more than a coffee, you know what I mean? But yeah, I found it really sweet. And I like sweet things. Sweet. Yeah. Is there alcohol in it? Oh.
There is, if you put it in there, if the bartender's cool, apparently, they have their own cinnamon whiskey that's only at Universal. It's not Fireball.
Oh.
And sometimes if they turn around, you can put it in there.
Oh.
But other times you just got to take the shot and use it as a chaser.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. I can't tell you who told me that, but Harry told me that. Styles, not Potter.
Oh, I was like, wait. I was like, Harry Potter?
Harry himself told me
Yeah,
that
I was like,
one.
that is crazy.
Now, have you watched a movie while recording a song or a record and evidently kind of scored it in a way?
No, I haven't. But I have recently been using movie titles as ideas for song titles.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's 2 songs right now in the pot of like to be on my next album that are both movie titles. And actually the name of my next album might be the name of a movie title.
Ooh.
Not one that's like that popular, honestly. I just like, my publisher actually once told me, he's like, if you ever get stuck, you should go through movie titles because they would be great titles for songs. And so I sent him just go through titles. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there could be a great song about that.
Well, I can't wait for another movie theme.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
Now I have something to look forward to.
Yay.
So now, during COVID, you gained a lot of traction on TikTok doing covers that were like kind of a point of view cover in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've talked about movies, we've talked about your writing process a little bit, and I want to know for you, how did you come about writing those, and how important was it for you to do a cover with your own integrity in a way of telling someone else's story that might have been the way they intended or the way that you interpreted it?
Yeah, I mean, remember before when I said my favorite thing to write is like depressing stuff? So I did the Hey, It's Delilah trend, which was super popular. Like everyone was doing it from Delilah's point of view. And I felt like it made it kind of depressing. And I was like, oh, there's other songs that I can make really heartbreaking if I do the other point of view, like Happier by Ed Sheeran. Like he thinks that this girl is going to be happier, and she is, but then I'm like, oh, I'm not happier. I want to be with you. And it's like, fuck, miscommunication. They should just be together. And I just made it so heartbreaking by doing the other point of view. And I realized there was lots of songs that I could do for that. And so I did all of them. And then I ran out of ideas and I never did it again. Literally, I was like, okay, I'm done. I should really do it more. It took a long time though, because it wasn't that I was just covering a song, right? I was like completely rewriting it. And most of the time I made it rhyme with the original because I'm
Really?
sick. Yeah.
How much of a challenge was that?
That was a big challenge. Yeah. But it sounded so much better phonetically because it's like what your brain was used to hearing, but like different.
Wow.
Not always. They weren't all like that, but I tried to make them like that.
Can we expect a double album one day of you talking about the other person's perspective?
Whoa, that'd be actually iconic. Maybe. That would give me good ideas.
It would be called Wishing I Was a Robot and Falling for One.
Oh, I like that. That is good.
Hell yeah. So now I want to play another song by you before we go into another commercial break and we start talking more about Warped Tour because we are on idobi Warped Radio right now.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. Who would have known? I thought I was just hanging out.
Yeah. I have a dog here. Yeah.
I think he's at reverse daycare right now, basically. Knocked out. So what LØLØ song should I play?
What LØLØ song should you play? Let's play You Turn Me On, But You Give Me Depression.
Hell yeah. Here is You Turn Me On, But You Give Me Depression by LØLØ here on idobi Warped Radio. Sweet.
Love it.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, cool. What are we at timing-wise?
30 minutes.
Perfect.
On the dot.
I love that. Sweet. All right. Good to go?
Good to go.
Good to go?
Yep.
Cool. We are back here on idobi Warped Radio, sitting here with LØLØ, and it's a moment we've all been waiting for. We're about to talk about the Vans Warped Tour and what it means to us all.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So now this is your first time going to the Vans Warped Tour, from my understanding.
It's my first Warped Tour. I'm a fucking poser. And I'm going to be there performing, which I think is really cool that I'm popping my Warped Tour cherry by performing on stage.
That's the best way to do it.
Right. That's why I waited so long, obviously.
So now Warped Tour started 30 years ago.
Crazy.
Which is like more than 29, less than 31.
crazy.
right?
That's some shit right there.
So there's 30 years of lineups of like probably like 20 plus artists at the very least playing the Vans Warped Tour. What is one artist you were bummed you didn't get to see play the Vans Warped Tour?
Honestly, I would have loved to see Katy Perry in her Warped Tour era, because that was the coolest era, in my opinion, of Katy Perry. Like, you know, now she's obviously way more pop star, but that, like, when she was doing the Warped Tour stuff, I feel like that was so fucking cool. I would have loved to see that.
And if it wasn't Katy Perry, who would you want to see?
I would love to see Simple Plan as babies.
Wow.
Like, just because I never got to see a Simple Plan show when they were, like, when I was first in love with them. I've only ever, like, my first Simple Plan show was recently.
Yeah.
I would love to see them as babies, especially now that I'm, like, close with them and friends with them. You know?
Wait, I just said yeah, and I just realized I just was saying yeah. You just saw them recently for the first time?
Well, yeah, it's So What Fest, I would say. That was my first time.
How?
Dude, I was not allowed to go to concerts as a kid. My mom was scared I was going to go deaf. Joke's on her, I'm a singer. But literally, I was like, my mom was super against concerts. Like, I had a crazy mom. I have a crazy mom. Hey, Mom, sorry about that. My mom's alive. Yeah, I wasn't, like, my mom didn't like when I went to concerts, so I would go. Sometimes I had to have a parent with me or like a supervisor because she was scared I was going to get kidnapped. I'm so kidnappable. I don't know. Right. And yeah, God, she was not going with me to Warped Tour. That's for sure. Or any loud concerts. My guitar teacher took me to John Mayer once. That was awesome. But yeah, I didn't go to a lot of concerts as a kid. I started going to a lot of concerts when I was older.
That's wild because, like, I was going to ask, like, growing up, going to see, like, Simple Plan, Mariana's Trench, and artists like that.
No, Mariana's Trench, another one. My first Mariana's Trench concert was on stage.
That's like the coolest brag.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the coolest brag in the world.
I like the way you look at things. Yeah, it kind of is cool brag. Yeah, I didn't go to a lot of concerts. Now I'm going to concerts all the time, especially like smaller artists and whatever. And honestly, those are kind of my favorite ones, like intimate and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I never saw Avril Lavigne. Like I only saw Avril Lavigne like recently also. All of my favorites, Green Day, my first Green Day concert was, well, my first time seeing them was when I was playing Lollapalooza. Whoa, everything was like when I was playing. Kind of crazy.
That's wild. You might be the only artist that's able to say that.
Kind of cool. I just lived in a bubble. I was like in a sheltered bubble, I guess.
You went from not seeing Simple Plan, arguably one of the biggest rock bands from Canada, to being featured on their re-release of I'm Just a Kid.
And that was the first time I saw them, when I sung that at So What Fest with them.
Wait, no way. I thought you guys were friends and everything beforehand, because I remember I was literally side stage waiting for you to do that, and I sent you the video after.
Yeah, and I'm like this in the video. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I remember you sent me that video, and I'm just like, I'm dying.
I would have
I'm
thought.
Scared.
I thought you guys were friends for like 15 plus years.
15 plus years? No. Oh my God. No.
You guys had such great chemistry together. And
Thank you.
Your
it's a Canadian
going
thing.
On stage was.
Oh, because I have to pretend I'm like, I just shut off. I'm like, I was scared shitless, but then I was like, okay, you're confident. I am? Yep. Okay, get up there. And I completely blacked out that performance. I remember I got off stage and my Hopeless was there. Mm-hmm. And they were like, that was amazing. That was so good. Oh my God. I was like, wait, how was it? Was it good? They're like, you were there, dude. I was like, was not there. No, I actually wasn't. And then I remember Tobin showed me a video on his phone and I was like, oh my God, it's so good. And he's like, yeah, we just saw.
My mind is blown right now.
Yeah. Well, so I was my first tour ever. I was supposed to tour with them, Newfound Glory, them and Newfound Glory in 2021. But it was like peak COVID. COVID started like coming back with a vengeance, and they weren't comfortable anymore, and they pulled off the tour. And I was like heartbroken, bedridden, and I thought the tour was going to be canceled. Ended up not being canceled, and they replaced Simple Plan with Less Than Jake and Hot Mulligan, and I had a ball, the best time, and love all of those bands. But yeah, so I knew them from that. Like I knew them because like I was gonna tour with them. So I think we got together once. I had a writing session with Pierre and Chuck, but which I was also shitting myself for. Yeah, but no, they like made me so nervous because I like idolized them as a kid. I'm
You're
just a kid. But now I'm finally touring with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And shout out to Hot Mulligan, too.
I love Hot Mulligan.
Chris from Hot Mulligan almost caused a big rift in Lolo and I's friendship a couple months ago.
Oh my God. That was crazy. So it was the Blink-182 Fire Aid show.
Yep, with Alkaline
And he
Trio.
was selling a ticket or two. He was selling 2 tickets, and I think he sold one to you. And I said to him, I will pay you double if you just give it to me. Just like literally I had no loyalty to Finn. I was just like,
and this goes back to Maud's son too. So the full story is it was a Thursday. I was doing my show live, and like I was determined. I'm like, you know what? Every week I'm doing my show live this year. And this was week 2. And naturally my co-hosts had to cancel because they were sick last second.
yeah.
And I'm like hitting up everyone. I hit up Maud, and Maud's like, dude, of course I'll do it. I hit up Danielle. Danielle hit up Maud, and they were
Nice.
super stoked about it. And then I saw you hit me up like, yo, do you have any way of getting into Blink? And I'm like, no, I'm sad about it. I'm doing my show live at Maud, which is going to be awesome, but I'm not going to see Blink and Alkaline Trio. And then I go to walk Biggie right before my show. I refresh Instagram, and Chris had just posted that like a minute before, and I call you. I'm like, don't be mad at me.
Oh my God. Yeah, and you were like, you got it. And I was like, fuck. But I ended up going. I ended up getting in.
Not only did you get in, you got into VIP as well.
I was in VIP. Yeah. So my boyfriend drums for Shawn Mendes, and Shawn's guitar tech is also the guitar tech of Matty Healy of 1975. And he got us 2 extra tickets. Is that what happened? Yeah. Or the bodyguard. Something is the same. And so I ended up being in VIP sitting at that table, which was crazy.
Which was even crazier when I finally got service, because Palladium's like terrible with service. Incredible venue, worse with phone service. I text you, I'm like, where are you at? And you were walking out of that section, and you're like, I was just at a table with Matty Healy, and then we run into each other. I'm like, oh, Lola, what up?
Oh my God.
And I
Yes.
was standing with Chuck too. So
Oh yeah,
all of it,
I
all
saw
of it
Chuck.
connects.
I forgot. Yeah, I was a little drunk by that point. Yeah, it was so fun. Oh my God, such a fun night.
I was very drunk by that point.
Yeah.
Don't tell
Okay.
Chuck. Chuck, if you're listening, I was drinking waters the whole time.
Same, Chuck. Same.
That White Claw was just water.
Yeah,
It was-
that's what it tasted like after
It was
after a little bit.
It was Liquid Death Claw.
Yeah, great name.
Incredible name. So now I promised we were going to talk more about Warped Tour. We just went on such a tangent that was
Yeah.
not about Warped Tour, even though
Whoopsies.
all these bands have played Warped Tour,
Yes.
in all fairness. So you've got into tour extensively, like you said, and all the bands that you named on that tour from 2021 have played Warped Tour.
Has Hot Mulligan?
I was just about to ask, I don't know if Hot Mulligan...
Are they on the lineup this year? I feel like I was just looking at this. Are they? If they're not, like,
They should be.
what the hell?
Maybe next year, if there's
Evan?
a next year. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, you've toured extensively with incredible, iconic artists who have played the Vans Warped Tour, such as Boys Like Girls, State Champs, Simple Plan, as we've said,
303.
Newfound Glory, 303, Less Than Jake. All these bands have played the Vans Warped Tour. Were there anything that you picked up that they do on tour differently than bands that haven't played Warped Tour?
That's a good question. I don't think so, but honestly, like, they're all super nice. So maybe Warped Tour makes them very kind and caring. I always say this because people are always asking me, like, what's it like being like in a male industry and whatever, all this stuff, and you just tour with guys. And I'm like, honestly, like, I'm sure people have had bad experiences, but I have been lucky enough to have the best experiences. Every time I'm touring with any of those guys, usually I'm like one of the only girls on tour, period. And I feel like just like the little sister, like I feel like they're all my big brothers looking out for me, like especially with my first tour ever, Newfound Glory was like literally the best, showing me all the ropes and just like changed my life. So love them.
That's awesome. And leading into next summer, or I'm saying next summer, it's coming up in a few weeks now. You're going out on the road with Bowling for Soup, 303, and Simple Plan.
Yeah.
And you said little sister. Let's be honest, most of them could be your dad. Sorry, Seth,
I'm trying to be
Pierre,
nice.
Jess, Jarrett. Very sorry, Jarrett.
Oh my God.
Sean and Nat, don't kill me. But either way, how did you get linked with all these artists? And you kind of mentioned it beforehand, how it feels to be on tour with them. But how does it feel like, because these are all artists that you weren't allowed to see growing up, as we've established, but were you listening to these artists as a kid?
Yeah. Well, Simple Plan, like that was like one of my top 3. 303, listening. Bowling for Soup. I think I like auditioned for one of my Can't Play singing 1985. Who else do we? Boys Like Girls. I had a tap solo to that song, to one of their songs. Yeah, I was listening to all of them. How did I get linked with them? I don't know. I guess I just got really lucky. Like I actually don't. Well, no, I do know actually. Chad Gilbert. Thank you God for existing. Because he found me on a Spotify playlist called Pop Punk's Not Dead, because that's what their tour was called, Pop Punk's Still Not Dead. He's like, I want to find like a cool artist to open for the 1 of 4 spot, and found me on that playlist, and that's how I got on that tour. And then from there, I feel like everything was kind of just like domino effect, word of mouth. So that kind of like got me into this industry. That's why I always literally in so many interviews, I'm like, thank you, Newfound Glory. Thank you, Chad Gilbert. I fucking love you. Because that kind of was where it started for me. And then now people know who I am, which is crazy.
That's how it works.
Yeah, I guess that's how it goes.
Man, Newfound Glory. There's a picture of me. I don't know if it's on the internet. It might be on the internet. It's definitely on my phone. I'll find it right after this interview.
Yeah, we needed to pop it up.
Yeah, maybe we'll pop it up. We'll do one of these like whoop things. It was a picture from my first Warped Tour, 2006, I think. It was either 06 or 07, and I met Jordan from Newfound Glory. I didn't wear sunblock that day. I have the worst sunburn, and you could like tell how bad it is from a Sidekick 3 quality. That's how bad it is. I'm wearing this red and white DC hat that was signed by Avril and her guitarist Evan at the time.
Sick.
And my shirt's from the Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando, Florida. God. And it says musician looking for groupies. And I think he's wearing like a Bayside shirt or something.
Oh my God. I need to see that picture. I have a pretty good Newfound Glory picture too. I have every night, obviously you've seen me, I wear like a plaid skirt and like like a little, I was wearing a Newfound Glory shirt a lot of the nights, and Chad told me, he's like, if you order me a skirt that will fit me, I will put it on and take a picture with you. So we have to make this pop up too. I literally have a picture of me and Chad in matching red plaid skirts. Yeah.
And I feel like Newfound Glory probably would have worn that back in the day anyway.
Would they have? I don't know.
The plaid skirt?
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Or
so he was into it. It was pretty short. I don't think he could have worn it on stage, if you know what I mean. But yeah.
Definitely not crowd surf safe.
No, God, no.
So going into playing the Vans Warped Tour for the first time ever this upcoming summer/fall as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Crazy.
30 years of the tour. It just it's been 30 years since the tour started, and
that's crazy.
Went across the country for 25 years. Blows my mind.
Crazy. Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. So now a lot of pressure. So going onto that stage, what song of yours do you feel like represents you the most in the Warped Tour space?
In the Warped Tour space? Fuck. You know, it's so funny because I feel like when Warped Tour was first getting announced, or I heard it was coming back, I was like, am I cool enough to be on this? I don't know. Like, do I fit in here? I always have this constant struggle of like not belonging in the scene, to be honest with you, because so many people are like, I feel like a lot of people are like, this isn't punk, this isn't rock, like this is pop and whatever. But then I feel like the whole point of the scene is that like anyone is kind of allowed to be there, no matter how heavy or not heavy you are. So I think I belong, but I feel like a lot of people don't think that I do belong here. Hopefully that changes after they watch me at Warped Tour, but also totally fine if it doesn't. But I don't know, like, maybe Debbie Downer, because it's like very upbeat, but maybe they would think that's cheesy. I don't know. I'm actually scared for Warped Tour, especially because I have a song that starts with "You Still Wear Skinny Jeans," and that should have been my first sign, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of skinny jean lovers there. So yeah, I don't really know. I just don't know what would it be. But I mean, I feel like Hot Girls in Hell, just as a song, most represents like me, because you got the singer-songwriter stuff and then you got the rock stuff. I'm sure a lot of people would say that that's not rock and I'm a fucking poser, which is why I wrote my song Poser, by the way. I saw people on Reddit calling me a poser, and I was like, that would be a really good song title.
Anyone who says you don't belong in the scene is stupid, and I hate them.
Thank you.
I'll look at that camera and say that. If you think LØLØ doesn't belong in the scene, you're stupid and I hate you. If you don't think LØLØ belongs in the scene, you're stupid and I hate you. You're stupid and I hate you. I'm not going through the whole bit again.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, anyone that's mean to me, Fish is going to beat you up.
Yeah, and Biggie's going to attack you.
Yeah.
Look how mean he is.
He's so mean and powerful.
But you encompass everything that a Warped Tour artist back in the day
Thank you.
has/had. Like, I hear elements of like the poppier stuff, like the Katy Perry, and even if you really break it down, you hear elements of Black Eyed Peas if you really want to break it down in some pop capacity.
Okay, let's get it started in here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very, very strange to hear that anyone would hate on you.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of like used to it by now. I think I got scarred because I got a drink thrown at me at Slam Dunk Fest.
Wait, no.
Do you remember this? I had a video come out after about the guy throwing me, and then I verbally like destroyed him a little bit.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We don't have to go into detail about that, but yeah. Ever since then, I was like, oh, okay. But you know what? Like, I don't actually care.
Yeah.
That did shake me in the moment, but whatever. I'm not for everyone, obviously. I don't love every band. Like, I'm not obsessed with every band on every lineup. So, like, why should you be?
Yeah.
But I think I'm cool. Come watch me.
Who would have thought the only thing that we share in common in our careers is we've had bottles thrown at us?
No way. When did you have a bottle thrown at you?
I was playing Jonas Brothers at On the Rocks in 2020. It was like around Grammy time. And this dude was just really pissed off. He threw 3 different bottles of Stella at my head.
Because of Jonas Brothers?
Yeah, because I want to play house music. I told him that I played the Jonas Brothers in my house, so that's house music, and that really pissed him off.
Oh my, that's really good though. Well, as a number one Jonas Brothers stan, like I went to their concert and started bawling my eyes out. Wasn't expecting that, but it just like all hit me at once. I respect your decision, and I hate that guy that threw Stellas at you.
So do I. And also, he wasted $45 on throwing Stellas at my head.
Wow.
Because On the Rocks is not cheap.
No, so he is dumb and apparently rich.
Yeah, and Dumb and Rich.
Dumb
that
and
could be
rich.
an album title right
Dumb
there.
and rich, yeah. Not for me.
So
definitely the dumb part.
So now you have your tour with Bowling for Soup, Simple Plan, and 303 coming up this summer. You have the Vans Warped Tour performance. What else is on the horizon for LØLØ right now?
Well, I am definitely hitting a lot more cities actually off the U Tour May on tour. I haven't announced it yet, and we're still like finalizing routing, but there was a bunch of cities I missed. So I'm going to do that soon. I don't know how much I can say about it. And then I'm writing a new album, which is crazy and so intimidating because I'm like, oh my God, I just put out an album and now I have to put out another one and it needs to be better somehow. And I really like my album, actually. I'm like really proud of it. So now it's been a lot of pressure actually to try to like do it again, but in a different way and, you know, keep getting better always. And I obviously challenge myself to always keep getting better. But recently I've been writing a lot of, a few songs that I'm like really excited about. So I'm stoked to like get that process going. And I'm going to put out my first single from the new album before the Simple Plan tour. So that'll be fun.
Ooh, that means we have new LØLØ before 2026.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
New LØLØ before GTA 6 as well.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I always see the British guy who talks about news on TikTok say something about GTA not coming
I
out.
always see people commenting that, being like, we got this before GTA 6. I'm like, I never played GTA.
Yeah, neither have I. I've just lived it in Los Angeles.
Yeah, for real.
And also Grand Theft Autumn, the Fall Out Boy song.
Oh, amazing.
Great song.
That's a great play on words. Damn.
They're so good at what
They
they
outdid
do.
themselves with that one.
Truly. But either way, I'm very excited to see you win over 80,000 people at the Vans Warped Tour.
80,000. Oof, barf.
Yeah, I'm very excited. You're going to win over every single person during your set.
Yay.
So very excited for that. Very excited to see you on the Simple Plan, Bowling for Soup,
Thank
and
you.
303 run as well, because, man, it's called the Bigger Than You Think tour.
I don't want to even, it's either bigger than you think or harder than it gets. Because they have a song called, I think it's Bigger Than You Think. I literally posted something and I was like, the harder than it gets song. And someone was like, girl, I'm going to hold my hand when I say this. That's not what the tour is called. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because they have, isn't their album, they have either a song or album. I'm sounding like such a bad fan right now. I'm a huge Simple Plan fan, okay? From the beginning. But yeah, I think it's called Bigger Than You Think tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should know that. But it's just confusing.
Yes. There is a dick pun in everything.
Oh, everything. And I didn't realize that until I was older. And I was like, holy shit, damn, they're good. Like, they are good. Like, fuck, that they are what I aspire to be in with puns, specifically dick puns, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy.
They crush it. So very excited to see you on that run, and really, really, really excited to see you play the Vans Warped Tour because of all my friends and artists that I've seen over the last few years. It's been the biggest bummer knowing that I've never seen you play the Vans Warped Tour because you've never played the Vans Warped Tour.
Never even stepped foot there.
Never even stepped foot there.
Never even stepped my foot wearing a van into the Vans Warped Tour. I tried to do something there, but it didn't work.
We tried our best. It wasn't as good as when Debbie did Dallas.
Yeah. Oh, see that was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that one just is the gift that keeps on giving.
Truly.
That's how we say it.
It's such an iconic moment when you played Debbie Downer at that emo night before So What Festival.
That was very iconic.
And we shared the green room too.
Yeah, that was fun.
Fun times.
Fun times.
Well,
we've been through so much.
More fun times are going to continue. There's new music on the way. There's going to be an incredible festival performance this summer. There's going to be more festival performances in the future. Very excited about that because LØLØ is 100% a festival artist that's going to be in front of everyone. Can't wait for the next headliner. Can't wait for the You Tour Me On Part 2. And can't wait for everything at this point.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
To come.
I definitely will be at every show. Don't you worry. I'm going to have to alternate between who I bother for guest lists. I'll be like, hey, Jarrett, you know you do the Rockstar Dad show on idobi. Can I come? Hey, Seb, man of the hour on idobi.
Yeah, literally everyone. You have a connection to everyone at all times. So but you can always bother me.
Exactly. You'll be the first one I hit up.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much for coming by idobi Warped Radio. Everyone listening and watching right now, be sure to check out our previous episodes with Kevin Lyman, TX2, Royal and the Serpent 303, Chandler Layden, and more, all on our YouTube page and now LØLØ. So, LØLØ, thank you so much for coming by idobi Warped Radio, and I'm very excited to see what's to come in the near future from you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I want to play one more song by you.
I guess we have to do Debbie Downer.
We have to do Debbie Downer.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it already.
We have to end the interview on a down note.
Yeah. And it's a Friday.
Exactly.
idobi Warped Radio.